All right, so let's talk about the crossover section of STAR test. It's one that historically kids don't do too well on, right? And usually the the STAR test kind of asks about three big categories: similarities and differences in characters or speakers or narrators, if it's nonfiction or poetry, right? Um, Similarities and differences in tone, usually similarities, and they usually give a specific um, two passages to look at, and they bring those in a box, and then theme, right? What do these two have in common, or theme wise or thematically? So, because of that, and you can kind of see this a little bit in these star mock-up questions from English 1 here, the idea that names are important in both, right? This idea, we're getting a theme here a little bit. What's one similarity between them? Another scaffolded question trying to get kids there. And then down here, the narrator can be described as, or the speaker and the narrator can be described as, since we're comparing a poetry and poem. And they look almost exactly the same. What's one similarity between hoodie and whole? How's the idea? Another theme kind of question of safety important. And then the speaker and narrator can be described as, right? So because of the nature of those questions, we thought a good thing to do to help scaffold the learning for your kids is kind of go back to an oldie but goodie, something like the Venn diagram, right? So the charge here is that kids would be thinking about things they notice about characters or speaker and narrator in these two, setting and tone, and they're going to do these after they read them or as they're reading them, if you kind of do these over a couple days. And then they go back and do the similarities by looking at these charts, right? Kind of simple. We have this two ways because while kids are familiar with the Venn diagram, it tends to not give you as much writing room, especially virtually. So this is the exact same idea, right? Except it's a kind of a trifold or three column, three table kind of thing here. And at the bottom is that formative assessment check question down here. Okay, so I think it's a nice little scaffold for kids. Hopefully it looks colorful, give them something a little bit different to do. But these are the things, regardless if you use any of these scaffolds or not, these are the things we want kids to be thinking about when they're thinking about text coming in common, speakers, characters, tone and theme. Sometimes setting comes up, but not as often. Because those are usually the things that are compared across those STAR questions. So no matter how you go about kind of reviewing that for your kids, hopefully this box is helpful for you, but those are the kind of the big three you want to keep in mind as you review and do crossover to prepare for STAR.